If I lost my audience, my referrals, all of my old content, all of my systems, every single thing except for my experience, and had to rebuild my photography business from scratch today, I would not start on Instagram. Hello, and welcome back to the CEO of Photog Club. I'm your host, Kylie, and this is where photographers come for more income, more systems, more freedom without burning out to get it. You're in the right room. Let's talk business. Today's club meeting is all about the exact roadmap I'd follow if I had to start over. Also, wouldn't that be the scariest thing? It is, but it's okay because we can start from the beginning. When I first started my business back in 2011, the first thing I did was make a Facebook page. I guarantee you that's not what I would do. Instead, I'm going to tell you today what I would not waste time on, the foundation I'd build, the exact order I'd grow my business in, and the one thing I'd protect from day one. So what I would not do, the first thing I would not do is start with a new logo. That's like secondary. That does not matter. Like, you are your business, right? Like, you are a photographer. You are the brand right now. You're building a business based off of your experience and what you do and all that stuff. A logo is not going to make a difference. You're not selling a product. You're selling yourself. Okay. So the logo doesn't matter. I remember spending all this money and time on all these logos. I had like a logo with like a little birdie on it that I hired a graphic designer for. I had logos from Etsy. I had hand painted ones. Yes, I do have a professional logo and a professional brand, and it's important. But in the beginning, I was constantly changing logos based off of trends and colors and all that. It just is not important. Okay. It's just not. The next thing is I would not obsess over presets. I, in the beginning, was like trying so hard to find my style and try different presets and make different presets. And all of that has changed over time. And I've still been able to grow my business in every different preset phase that I had. That's not the most important thing. I'd also not wait for the most perfect website, but yes, I would probably. I'll talk about that. I remember when I started my business, I went down to the Utah State bookstore. I was a student in college at USU. I walked down to the bookstore, walked back home with the CD for Adobe Dreamweaver. And then I spent the next 20 hours trying to build my own website with Adobe Dreamweaver. And I got it up, I got it live, but it totally sucked. And then I went to Wix, and then I finally found WordPress, and I've stayed there. But it's just, we've spent so much time trying to make these perfect things when that's not the key either. I would also not try to be everywhere. I could never catch up on the 15 years of content that I've had. So if I was starting today, I wouldn't try to be on Instagram and TikTok and Facebook and blog and Pinterest and email, like all of the things at once. That has been built over time. I would not start from day one. I think the mistake that most photographers make is they're trying to look established before they've even built something stable. Like they're trying to, get 15 years. Like they see someone who's been doing this for so long and they're trying to build that from day one. And the truth is that it's one, it's not possible. And two, pretty is not the same as profitable. So this is what I would do. The first thing I would do is I would pick my money lane. So before marketing, before content, before branding, I'd answer, what do I want to be known for booking? And I would literally choose one thing. And I know this is contradictory to what I talk about all the time because I'm a big fan of not niching down. But if I was starting from day one, I would choose one niche, because when you're starting, and my product photography students know this, when you're starting, it's way easier to start with one, to be known for one. Then inquiries will come in for other things and you can grow beyond that. But when you're dialed into the one and you're marketing to the one, you're going to be able to grow so much faster and so much further. So what would my money lane be? Would I do families? Would I do brands and products? Would I do weddings? Would I do seniors? Would I do newborns? There's lots of options. And I'm even coaching someone right now that is a personal stylist, and she has tons of options that she does. And I always tell her, okay, what's the thing, like the one thing you would want like people to book? And it's her closet clean outs or her personal styling. She has so many other offers, but we need to dial into what is the money lane so that's what we're going to market the most. And everything else is just going to be like extra when that comes in. I have another friend who came over the other day and she was just trying to figure out what she wants her business to be. And she has all these different hobbies and talents that she's so good at: foot zoning and face zoning and holistic tips, that kind of stuff, but then also organizing and budgeting and like random facts of how to save money, all these things. So trying to figure out like, okay, we can't sell all of that at the same time because a confused mind says no. I've said this since day one. A confused mind says no. So what is the money lane we're going to stick to? Clear is going to be the most important thing. The clearer you are about what you offer, the easier it is going to be to scale that offer. So instead of trying to focus on being like a family photographer and wedding photographer and newborn photographer and senior photographer, pick a money lane and go hard on that money lane. Okay. After that, I'll do a whole podcast episode about not niching down, maybe eventually. After that, you do need to have different marketing funnels to do different niches. You can't just have one landing page that has all your stuff or one Instagram that has all of your stuff. Like that's why I have Kylie Commercial and Kylie Studios. They're different things. And honestly, Kylie Studios should be Kylie Weddings and Kylie Newborns and all those things if we really wanted to get really specific. It is just way easier to scale one thing and one funnel. Okay, so we'll talk about that another day, but that's just a little side note. Okay, step 2, after creating the money lane, I'm going to figure out how to build an offer in that money lane. So we're going to start with one very clear offer that we want people to know about within that lane. So let's say we are going to choose branded products. We're not going to have 17 packages. We're not going to have custom everything. We're going to have like basic 1 or 2 or 3 packages max where they can pick a package that works for their business. If you're wedding photographer, same thing, 3 packages, 2 to 3. Okay. If you're a family photographer, 1 to 2. One family package would be great. One offering. You aren't going to be like, okay, this is for under 3 kids. This is for 4 to 5 kids. This is for 6. No, we're just going to have a family rate and it's going to have deliverables and how long you're going to spend with them. And that's what it's going to include. Okay. So then when you have your money lane and you have your offer, and let's say you're out in the wild and someone's like, what do you do? And you're like, oh, I'm a family photographer. What do you charge? Oh, well, I have different packages. Da, da, da. No, you're going to say, oh, my family session includes yada, 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 and it costs yada, yada. And it's perfect for, families, big families or little families or families that love to adventure or families that love lifestyle or families that love posing or whatever it is that you specialize in. You're just going to have a really easy line to be able to tell people what you do. I'm a terrible example right now because I'm 15 years in and we offer everything under the sun. So when I go out into town and they're like, what do you do? I do still claim myself as a product photographer because I'm not going to be like, oh, well, we do families and seniors and newborns. And well, I don't do it, but my team, that is confusing. So pick your money lane and then pick your offer so that you can scale those 2 things. So if I was going to be a business photographer, I photograph for businesses. I focus on, products and headshots to help businesses grow online or to specialize in Amazon or to whatever I want to say at the time. But you can't tell everyone everything under the sun that you offer. You have to be less confusing. That's the bottom line. If I was starting from today, I would choose one money lane and one offer. It'd be so much easier to scale. Okay, now for step 3, we're going to make booking really easy. If someone is ready to pay you, your job is to not make them hunt for how to give you money, okay? So at the very minimum, you need to have a very clear inquiry form. So this can be a website, like embedded website contact form, or an even better option would be like a CRM embedded into your website. So when I say CRM, I know I'm talking jargon. We're going to get to it in other episodes. A CRM is a client relationship manager. This is Honeybook, Dubstove, 17 Hats, Pixie Set. This is where your inquiries come in, you send your contracts, your invoices, all that kind of stuff. I am a super fan of Honeybook and I will dedicate a whole entire season to it one day. Probably. But for now, the basics of it is that on Honeybook, I can create a contact form that has like whatever I want to customize. Their name, their email, what location they're looking for pictures in, a little bit about their family, a little bit about their business, their website, whatever it is that I'm asking them. That inquiry form, they fill it out and then it goes straight into my CRM. So it goes straight into Honeybook, into a pipeline where it says, these are, things you need to reply to. These are ones you need to follow up with. These are the ones that are booked. And so I can see all of my clients, all my potential clients, all my past clients in one spot. So I would have a clear inquiry form and it would be very specific to that offer that I'm offering. So if I'm going to focus on business and brands, it's going to be, what's your business name? What are your business needs? Tell me your problem areas. Tell me how you, blah, blah, blah. If it's going to be family sessions, be like, tell me about your family. Like, what kind of photos are you interested in? What, weddings, what's your budget? Those kinds of questions, right? Like we want to be specific to the offer that we're offering. The second thing that you would need to have at minimum is a simple pricing guide. Now you can make this in Canva. There's so many templates in Canva that you can just pop your stuff into. You can hire a designer. That would be awesome to create your pricing guide. I have a designer that works for me that you can hire that is amazing. You could also just do this straight into Honeybook. There are Honeybook files where you can create pricing guides where they can kind of look through, and then you can even have them where you click on them and then they can book the shoot themselves. So a very simple pricing guide. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. I just gave you 3 really simple options to make that. But the pricing guide should really include pictures and what it is you're offering, like what it does for your client. Like these are pictures that, you're going to cherish forever, and here's why. And, talk about your editing style, your turnaround time, your how many deliverables are in the package, how much time you're going to spend with them. Talk about testimonials in the pricing guide. Like just make it really like, I have to have this photographer shoot whatever it is that your offer is. And then you need to have a booking workflow. So for me, if I was going to start today, I would still go in and even before I booked my first client, I would create a whole template of each process. So when they inquire, what's the first email they're going to get from me? Then to follow up with them, what's the second email they're going to get from me? Then if they decide to book, what are they going to get from me after that? Are they going to get a proposal from HoneyBook? Are they going to get, all of that? That's going to be done. Then after they book, what's the first email going to look like? What's the reminder email going to look like? All of that is going to be set up before I book my first client, because I want all of my clients to have the same experience. I want them to have a good experience. I want them to be taken care of at every step and not be wondering or waiting for me. So I will have a whole booking workflow that is the same for every client from day one. Also, you need a payment process. If you're using a CRM, then that's all included. If you're not, then you need to have Stripe set up or Square or PayPal, something like that. Do not do Venmo unless you do business Venmo. You're going to get in trouble for that. And then a follow-up email. So follow-up emails, that's kind of in the booking workflow, but that is something that's important when people inquire, that you're following up with them and you're following up after they book as well. These are all important parts. So that is step 3 for me, is I'm going to make booking so easy. I want to have all my workflows set up from the beginning so that it's just so easy for someone to book with me and for me to get paid to do what I love, right? It's all set up from the beginning. And by the way, I would 100% start with HoneyBook from day one. I didn't have HoneyBook when I started my business 15 years ago. It didn't even exist. My first CRM was Tave, and then I moved to HoneyBook once HoneyBook was created, and it has just grown and grown since then. It has scheduling features in it now. All of my automations are in there. So all these emails are automated instead of sending them one at a time. I have all my email templates in there, all my proposals, contracts, all of that is in there. So I would definitely start from HoneyBook from day one. Okay, step 4 is I would actually start with long-term marketing instead of social media marketing. This is where I feel like a lot of photographers are missing, is they are trying to get viral on Instagram and post more and do all these things, and they're competing with just a sea of a million people. I want to be found locally. I am a local photographer. I want to be found based on the keywords that I'm putting out there. So if I had to start over today, I would blog before I tried to go viral. I would build up my SEO. Instagram could disappear at any time. We've seen it crash before. And if you're relying on that to get your clients, it's not sustainable. A blog can bring in clients for years. I literally have a blog that I wrote on children's brand photography in 2015. I think 2014, 2015, I think, for Papper Apparel. And it is the #1 spot on Google for the last several years. So a blog I wrote over 10 years ago is still bringing in clients for me all the time in the space that I love to shoot in. So what I would do for every session, I would blog it. I would blog it with keywords. I would blog it with location tags so that I'm showing up in my area. I would answer questions in advance for Google. So if what's the best time to book family pictures, or where's the place to go? All of that I would answer ahead of time. And I would create the content that people actually are looking for, who are ready to book. Viral is fun. Actually, I don't think going viral is actually that fun. My goal is not to go viral. Every time I go viral, I get the meanest comments. But being searchable is profitable. So that's why I would for sure start with long-term marketing. At the same time, we do need clients right now. So what would I do instead of social media? 2 things. I would plan micro events. And for those of you who are in my coaching, you know what I'm talking about. I would do these little events that bring in a lot of people and then capture them. Capture their emails, capture their attention. They are so impressed. They get to know who I am, how I shoot, what my editing looks like, what my turnaround time looks like, and they're so stoked about it. They come back as clients forever. That's number 1. Number 2 is networking groups. Local networking groups. Every town has them. If you're in a small town, then you're probably going to have to go to a bigger town to get clients anyway. So go to the bigger town and join the networking events. There's BNIs, there's masterminds, there's Chamber of Commerce. That's all over the world. I was actually at a Chamber of Commerce talk in London last year. This is literally everywhere. Everyone can find local networking events. And that's a great way to bring in clients, especially if you have your one money lane and your one offer. It's really easy to be able to sell your services in that area. Okay, step 5 is build an email list early. So I waited way too long to treat my email list like an asset when I first started. I remember, actually, this is funny. I remember in 2013, I was at WPPI in Las Vegas and I was sitting at a table and I overheard Caitlin James talking to another creator in the industry and her husband, and they were starting like, okay, what are you doing with your email list? And I remember them talking about it and being like, oh, intriguing, email lists. And that was like the first click of like, what is email list and why am I think I signed up for a Mad Mimi when I got home. I'm like, okay, the big creators are using email lists. Okay, it's so simple. Why are we not doing it? You are shooting clients every year, even if you're shooting 10 clients. What if you emailed all 10 of those clients when your schedule opens back up in April and you're like, hey, I have 10 shoots. Boom, easy. You don't have to use social media to get those. They're already on your email list and then they can just book you. So what you need to do is you just need to add a little form. So I'm a super fan of Flowdesk. I'll leave all these show notes. I'll leave a little links thing in the show notes so you can find Honeybook and Flowdesk and show all the things that I use. But you just embed a form from Flowdesk. It captures their name and email. I know we've all put our name and email on these forms. That's how it works. You get their email for saying like, oh, you're going to be first on the list to know about my sessions, or here's a little what to wear guide, or here's like my favorite 10 places in Cache Valley. Like I am going to do whatever to give them value, to give them for them to give me their email. And then when I have openings, I'm going to blast those out instead of having to like sell my soul on social media. Okay. And then we're going to email our list weekly and bi-weekly. So every week and every other week, you're going to share openings, educate them on like what to wear or styling for shoots or things to do in your local area, offers that you have going on. Social media is great if you want to be on the hamster wheel forever. You always have to do it. An email list is building, and then you just email them when you want to share something cool with them or fill up spots. You know, it works when it works, and it's just the best. Okay. Let's talk about step 6. I would document everything. So even if I was solo, it was just me, I'm going to start acting like there's going to be future team members. I'm going to document inquiry replies, my editing process, my session prep, my client experience, my delivery process, my blog workflow, all of this. These systems are not only great for the future, for scaling, they are great because then every single client is going to have the same experience with you. Let's say Becky comes to you and she wants family pictures and you kind of shoot in the same workflow and you have this editing and you have the same turnaround and you have all these check-ins along the way. And then Becky refers you to Becky's neighbor and then you're really busy that week, so you don't do any of those things. Okay, no, we have to do the things at the same time if we want to build a sustainable business. Like we can't just have different experiences for different people. So we have to create systems so that we can do these things over and over and over and wow our clients the same way. And it becomes part of like who we are innately instead of just flying by the seat of our pants. Okay. Step 7, protect your life from the beginning. This is the part that I would really hone in on. Life has life for me since I started my business, and I'm sure it's life for you. Like it just does, right? And so when I built my business, I didn't have any boundaries in place. I didn't have any of these systems I just talked about set up, and I didn't have like a lot of balance. And it's still, balance is not real, right? Like it's not possible to do balance. There's days where it's work heavy, there's days where it's family heavy. But what I would do is I would set myself up from the beginning to have like my work hours, my editing days, my family days. I would do things for my mental health built into my business. Like, okay, I have my monthly therapy appointment. I have my monthly massage. Like these things I'm taking care of myself because running business can be hard. It's hard physically and emotionally. So you want to build a business that supports your life from the very beginning because that's part of why you're doing this. So just a little recap. If I had to start my business over from today, I would first pick my money lane, one niche to start with, and then I'd build a clear offer or two in that area that's like a bigger package and a mini package. And then I would make booking so easy. I'd have a workflow that is the same for every person that includes templates and the same proposals and all that kind of stuff. I would blog every single shoot with local keywords. I'd build an email list from day one, document everything I did so it's all the same for all the clients, and then it makes it easy to scale. And then I'd protect my life while I grow it instead of having life be like a secondary thing. You do not need to rebuild your entire business this week. If you're like, okay, I'm not doing any of these things, or I should start over, whatever. Just stop doing the random things and start doing the things in the right order. So if you're listening to this and you're like, okay, yes, I'm not doing number 2, 3, or 4, go back there and just like make some tweaks. You don't have to start over, but this is what makes a sustainable business. All the other stuff is stuff that I've just had to figure out along the way and learn and grow. And we all are, right? We're all just like learning a better way to do things and then tossing the things the bad habits, right? So it's just a process. And that's what I would do if I started today. If you have an idea for an episode, DM me on Instagram. This episode today came from someone who DM'd me on Instagram. She wanted to know what I would do if I started from day one. And I loved that idea. She actually sent me like a whole list. So we have so much great content coming. But if you have an idea, please DM me. You can also check out, I have these $22 mini offers on my website about scaling your business through product photography or through an associate team or marketing. That's all on my education page, and they're truly $22, and like the value is insane. Like if you really looked into it, you would be shocked. And then don't forget to get on the list for today's club notes. They'll be sent straight to your inbox with action steps, and so it makes it really easy to take action, because at the CEO Photog Club, we are action takers and we are going to change our lives one baby step at a time. Our meeting is now adjourned.